everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and today Apple officially announced its iPhone 14 event date. We've been waiting for this for some time, and they finally announced it. So I thought we'd talk about where to watch it, when to watch it, and also everything to expect. Now, invites went out to the press and media today, and some will be in person, some will not. So you can see RSVP to join us in person for a special Apple event. Some people got this invite, and there's also another event invite where they invited them to watch it online. So some people will watch it online and not, so it is going to be a pre-recorded event similar to what we had with WWDC, it seems, with a hands-on area afterward at the Steve Jobs Theater. Now, if you want to check this out and you can see where to watch it and when to watch it, go to apple.com, scroll down, and you'll see the event here. It's on 9/7 or September 7th, as many predicted, at 10 a.m. Pacific time or 1 p.m. Eastern time. If we go to learn more, you'll see it says watch online, and you can see it on Apple TV's app or apple.com. So just like you could before, whether or not it will be streamed on YouTube is hard to say. And then, of course, you can actually share it here or add it to your calendar. So just like previous events, if we tap on this, there's a little augmented reality sort of Easter egg hidden here. We'll give it just a moment to load, and there we have it. So if we zoom in just a little bit, well, we'll go to object. That's usually a little easier to see it with this, and it's just kind of space as you're traveling through it. So as we look around, you can look at around it in augmented reality. And if we exit out of this, you can see the name of the event on the invite that I showed before called Far Out. So that's Apple's Far Out Apple event. And so what this means, maybe it's hinting at something with augmented reality. Maybe it has to do with astrophotography on the iPhone 14, some new thing going on with that. We can expect something along those lines where maybe we can pick up stars, zoom in, see if there's anything here. And so you have that augmented reality experience or object. Anyone can check that out. Now, as far as what to expect, well, we expect the iPhone 14s. And as I've talked about in the past, here's some of the models of them. For the lower end models, we expect the iPhone 14 and 14 Plus. So we'll have a Plus model this year instead of a mini model. However, some rumors suggest we could see a mini, but that seems very unlikely. Typically, these have never been wrong. It's expected to have the same chipset that we have in the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max, and instead they'll bump up the chipset in the Pro models. So instead of just these two, instead of the mini, again, of course, we'll have the 14 Pro and 14 Pro Max. These are just representative of the overall size. So these, again, are just sort of models or dummy units, as they call them, and they represent the overall size and dimensions. Not really too many changes here, except it does look like they're getting rid of the notch on the Pro models. So we'll just have sort of a pill and a hole punch, as many have seen before based on display analysts. So that, along with heavily upgraded cameras, maybe 48 megapixels, telephoto zoom, as well as 8K recording capability on the Pro models with an upgraded chipset. And so within the Pro models, we would see an A16 chipset where we'd have the A15 in the previous models. That makes a lot of sense this time around, as we've had some chip shortages and more. So that's what we can expect as far as the iPhones are concerned. So we should see that, as well as possibly a $100 price increase on the Pro models. It's hard to say if that's going to happen until it does, and then we can expect Apple to discontinue the previous models. Now, this past year, they did keep around the iPhone 12 and 12 mini. Maybe this year they'll keep around the 13 and 13 mini, but get rid of the Pros altogether when they switch over to the 14 Pro. You can see the camera bump is definitely larger there, as there should be some big improvements with those cameras. Now, we also expect updated Apple Watches. We don't expect some major redesigns, but just like the Series 7, the Series 8 is expected to launch looking similar to this one, but maybe having a temperature sensor included in the bottom. So it's not expected to get any major updates. It may even have the same chipset, but just a small incremental update. Of course, we'll have watchOS 9 and more. We'll talk about that in a moment, but maybe some additional sensors, maybe a few surprises as well, but we just don't know at this point. But either way, we expect this along with a Watch 8 Pro or Extreme Edition that should be more durable and be in titanium, but also have a flat display, as some have said. So we could see an upgraded model this time where they'd get rid of sort of the Edition models and replace that with Pro models. So we're expecting to see that. What those actually contain, what their durability is like, we'll just have to wait and see, but many are expecting that to be announced. We're also expecting AirPods Pro 2. Now, whether or not these will be announced at this event is hard to say. It could be pushed out a little bit later, but they're small enough that I think Apple could announce them at the event with possibly some new features. We're expecting the case to have a speaker in it, making it easier to locate with Find My, possibly USB-C, although some people say that won't be coming until next year and they'll keep Lightning, but I think it would be good to change that if everything else changes. And then also higher res audio with a new chipset inside, possibly more sensors, health-related sensors for temperature, and possibly a shorter stem here, a slight redesign there. But either way, we can expect these to be replaced fairly soon. Whether or not it will be at this event or not is hard to say. Of course, we're also going to expect the announcement of iOS 16 and when that will release to the public. Typically, after Apple events, they'll release the release candidate to everyone. So the release candidate may be on the 7th, meaning that we could have another beta, or possibly they'll do that a little earlier. And then usually at that event, they'll announce when we can expect the final version to release to the public. It could be the following day or the following week, as we can expect the iPhones to go up for pre-order on the 9th, with them going for sale on the 16th. That's typically what Apple does every year. So that's what we can expect with iOS 16, usually sometime in the following week or possibly the next day, but they do like to do that earlier in the week as well. Now, also, we can expect watchOS 9 to be announced the same time. Usually they announce that and it releases the same day as iOS 16, tvOS 16, and HomePodOS 16. We can expect all of those. However, we don't expect the other operating systems. So we don't expect iPadOS 16, as at this point we have iPadOS 16.1. So right now, Apple released that the other day as iPadOS 16 Beta 7, but it's also 16.1. It's the same thing, and you can actually see that under Settings and About. So you can see here, iPadOS 16.1 is out, the first version of it, and it looks like it's going to be pushed back to October or later in September. Many people have said to expect a separate event with an October event for iPads and Mac. So we won't see iPadOS 16 or 16.1 until then, and we shouldn't see macOS 13 Ventura until then either. So we're waiting for a separate October event. When that will take place, I don't think anybody really knows for sure yet, except for Apple, but that's when we can expect upgraded iPads Pro, as well as maybe some Macs. Maybe they'll finally show off that Mac Pro and possibly some new accessories, HomePods, or maybe we'll finally see Apple's AR/VR headset. Either way, that's everything about the Apple event, the far out Apple event that should be just a couple weeks away. They announced it a little bit early, it seems, this time, and we've got a couple weeks to prepare. So let me know if you're excited about it, if you're going to be picking up an iPhone 14 or waiting until after you see it. Let me know your plans in the comments below. Of course, I'll link this wallpaper in the description like I normally do. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.